Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm doing another video. If you'll give me a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, we'll get started. Okay, well, throughout the weeks, not just this last week, I just get a lot of information that comes in, and really, I don't feel that information coming in is necessarily things I need to share. Like in the past, it was, I definitely felt like those were messages to get me started on what I'd be working on or sharing on the weekend. And I just think that the way information is coming to me and the purpose of that information coming to me has changed. And so today, just before I started the video and I'm getting everything ready, I just thoughts start coming into my head. So you could say claircognizance, clairsentience, a lot of emotion and feeling, information coming in through emotion, not empathy, not direct emotions, not happiness or sadness, but information that comes in the way of a knowing. That's a feeling, okay? So it's a feeling that comes in the way of a knowing. That's clairsentience. And then also a lot of clairvoyance. And so as I'm kind of setting things up and getting ready to start, I am with my very good friend, and we're in Scotland, and we're out on the countryside and we're around bogs, the peat bogs. And all of a sudden I had this inclination that I have to go out further into this field. So I start walking out into this field, and he's like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to go there." And I'm like, "I have to go. I have to go." So I just start walking out into this field, and I get to this space, and I sit and I just center my energy, and I start opening myself up to whatever is meant to come. And then this officer comes, and he stands next to me, and he says to me, "You're not supposed to be here. I need to escort you back." And I said, "I need you to just wait just a minute." And he's like, "Well, you're not supposed to be here, and I need to walk you back." And I said, "I need you to do me a favor. I need you to close your eyes." And so he closes his eyes, and I said, "Without opening your eyes, I need you to open your heart." And I go, and now after he opens his heart, I said, "Now I need you to open your eyes." And so he opens his eyes, and what he sees is the earth, the bogs, they open up, and 4 horsemen come out. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: the white, the red, the black, and the brown horse with their riders. And I was like, so as I'm getting ready, I didn't know what was going to come out. I did not know what was coming out. I just asked him to center himself and open his heart, and then to open his eyes so he could witness what's happening. And it was super emotional for me. Of course, I'm in tears. And he doesn't know what he's seeing. Or he does know what he's seeing, but he's not believing what he's seeing because it's there in front of him. And that's it. I just kind of start working, and I'm kind of working through emotionally the vision I just had and what that implies. And what came to me was that I have a lot of friends that have different social media platforms, groups that they work from, and they send very positive messages of love and compassion and excitement about the transition, because they know right now where we're at right now, there's a huge transition is happening, and there's so much joy, and I think that is beautiful, and that's true. People who are seeing the world from a higher perspective and are really embracing the divine, the transition, the transcendence, the love, the compassion, the kindness, the journey, path, and purpose, those people see this transition from a higher perspective, and it's a joyous and loving and beautiful experience. And so that's what they're expressing. People who are still stuck in the, let's just say the 3D, which is a term that is used a lot, but have not chosen to transcend or change, this time is going to be very difficult. Okay, and I have to live between both worlds. I have to live from a place of understanding the beauty that's coming, but also I have to stand from this place of bearing witness to the darkness and showing compassion and understanding for those people who are still at this place of who are not transcending, who are at this 3D level, I guess. I don't like using that term, but I'm not sure how else to describe it. I just sit in this place, like in the in-between, and I bear witness. And so I've always said for many years, and I felt this way since I was a little kid, that I exist between the spaces and I fill in the gaps. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm sitting in between the spaces and I'm filling in the gaps. I'm bearing witness to what's happening. I'm bearing witness to the choices that people have made to not change. Many people are waiting for everything to get better. They feel like if they stay in this place, that things will change, things will get better, things will go back to the way that they were. But we are not going backwards. There's no going backwards. The only thing constant in the universe is change, transition, and we are changing and we are transitioning. And we are constantly changing and transitioning. But right now we are going through a massive change, transition, and transcendence. Okay, so this is a beautiful time of change for people who have committed to their path and purpose. Okay, people who know, understand, and commit to their path and purpose. But for people who have chosen to remain in this place and are waiting for change that will make their life better, who are not working towards that change, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be a very difficult time. So that's what came to me after I had that vision. And then when I was here clearing, centering, and balancing my energy just in this moment, just a couple minutes ago, the police officer that said he needed to escort me back, he went down onto his knees and he bowed. And I was like, why is he bowing? I don't understand why he's bowing. He was right next to me, went down on his knees and he bowed. And it turned out then he changed into one of the angels. So it's the angels who blow the horn. It's the angels who start open the seals. It's the angels who begin the what's prophesied in Revelation. I believe it's Revelation 6 is when the seal is open for the horsemen to be released onto the earth. And so they represent what we know as the Antichrist, as famine, as death, and Antichrist, famine, death, and I can't remember the fourth one. But I'll put the links down in the description, and if you're interested, you can read more. But I would say this next few months is going to be very challenging for some people. But and many people don't believe that revelation is happening right now. And since I come from a Christian background, Catholic, then this stage of end of times is referred to as revelation. But I know across the planet there are many other religions or faiths where people have different end of time stories. So whatever that is for you, that is what we are going through right now. And I know a lot of people don't believe that this would happen in their lifetime, but it's going to happen in someone's lifetime, right? It is happening in our lifetime. If people, I think, really understood what was happening right now, I think they would want to change. They would try to change. Or I'd like to believe that. But then I go back to the book of Jeremiah and Nebuchadnezzar, and many people in that circumstance had the opportunity to turn to God, to the divine source, to the Creator, and hold true to their commitment to that energy, to that divine energy, and live by the promises, that they made through their religion to God, and God would hold true to his commitment to his people, right? But people didn't do that. And so there were consequences for that, okay? Right now, what we are living through, what we will be living through, are the consequences of the choices that we have made. So the choices that people have made to live by the divine source energy, from love and compassion, patience, acceptance, honoring one another. Those who have chosen that divine energy will have a very beautiful transition. Those people who have committed to the earthly plane, to the material plane, to the offerings of man and not that of God or divinity or the source of all creation, will be struggling. And I feel like it's really important to say that not everybody who is transcending lives like from the same place I do, or lives from the same place as many people that I know, of this knowing of path and purpose. I think many people can intuitively live their path and purpose without being connected the same way I am and the same way other people have, right? But I do feel like many people have, more than not, have chosen the material plane, have chosen the creations of man and not the creation of the divine as the source of their power, the source of their beliefs, the source of what drives them in their life. And the other thing that came is that part of the manipulation and the deception has been people being able to convince themselves of that they are living from a godly place, from a faithful place, from a religious place, from a place of faith and trust in the divine source, when in fact they're really committed to the material plane. And I think the easiest example currently would be putting your faith in the divine source and all its creation, in Mother Earth and the Sun, Father Sun, in healing and protecting us, because there's a lot of stuff happening on the earth and with the sun that is way beyond what we've ever experienced before, and there's a purpose for that. Okay, and if you connect through prayer or through meditation or whatever that may be, and prayer does not only have to be, and meditation does not only have to be sitting in one position with your hands like this or in a corner or whatever. It doesn't have to be that. It can be through physical activity. It can be through exercise. It can be through prayer. It can be through dance. It can be through anything creative, painting. It can be through service to others. There's many ways that people open themselves up through their heart and through their mind and through their body to divine inspiration and information. Okay, so there's many ways to open yourselves up, but to that inspiration, to healing, but most people have committed to what has been created on earth, not by Mother Earth, right? So many people have been committed to a mask or a shot, right? Something chemical that's been put together that you can ingest that'll make you feel better, prescriptions, right? As opposed to having faith in food, healthy, good quality food that clears your body, water, okay, exercise, physical exercise, meditation and prayer, anything the earth gives us, the energy from the sun, right? People have lost sight of that because we've been told that the sun causes skin cancer, damages our skin, all these things. The sun doesn't do that. The sun is our fuel. Just like the sun fuels plants, it's our fuel. Okay, like the food, vegetables, fruit, all the stuff of the earth is our fuel. We've been told that the sun damages us, but it doesn't. It's the toxic nature of the air that we breathe, of everything that's in our soil and everything that's in our water. That is what causes this damage to our skin, to our body, internally, externally. That's from the toxicity of our earth. And again, if you Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about this in his research in stem cells. A healthy stem cell in a healthy environment will flourish. A healthy stem cell in a toxic environment will mutate. It will become toxic. It will become harmful. It will be damaged. That's us. We are physical energies. We are physical manifestation of energy in a toxic environment, and we are becoming toxic. We are toxified. We are becoming damaged. And right now, all this transition that's happening on the earth, to the earth and the sun, and all the energy coming in is to heal us, okay? And if you have faith in that, you will be healed and you will transcend and change with Earth, the planet, and all the people who have made the same commitments as you. But if you have put your faith in the material plane, in the creations of man, then you will live by the consequences of those choices, okay? And I've known from the beginning that I bear witness to all this. And there are many people who do bear witness, but I'm not sure. And if they're making videos or what their path and purpose is or how they share that information. But I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And I know as I witness this and I internalize this into my body and it becomes part of me and part of my consciousness, it gets shared through the higher self to the divine. And then it's acted upon. Okay? The justices, the injustices, the goodness and the negative, the harm. I don't even want to say negative, because positive and negative are just that. They're positive and negative. We can assign things that we perceive as, let's say, just bad to all things dark and negative, but that's not that's not true. Okay? Dark can be very good. I love it when it's dark when I sleep. Okay? That's just a very simple example. Dark does not mean bad. Okay? Negative does not mean bad. It's these are things that we assign meaning to through our consciousness, but those things that are positive aren't necessarily positive, and the things that are negative aren't necessarily negative, which is why it's so important to stay in the middle, or to stay balanced. But I know that I'm here to bear witness, and I'm here to bear that witness from a very balanced perspective, and I'm here to share that information through the higher self and to the divine for that to be acted upon. And then as that information is shared and acted upon, it is from a place of creation to create new earth. Okay? And so in the last video, I talked about that everything's put in place. So before, I guess I shouldn't have said that, but I said it. Before this whole pandemic, there was a flow of energy that was put in place. Over decades, they were building up momentum. There was a plan and a purpose to that plan that they had moving, okay, and they had momentum and they drove it. Right now, and I've said it many times, the energy and the momentum that they had from that intention that they had set for that purpose that they were intending to implement, and create the change that they wanted from this place of power and control and oppression, that energy's all petered out. And so now we're at a place where the positive, loving, balanced, divine energy is coming in to create the change that was prophesized in Revelation or any other religious text or book that discusses end of times, okay? We are at that place now for that positive wave or that balanced wave of energy to come and create the change that we have been promised from the divine. Those of us who have committed to path of purpose and committed to the divine source energy, committed to change, that energy, that momentum is on our side now, okay? And so it is moving and creating the change that we all want. And so that flow is happening, okay? There is no way to stop it. It's picking up momentum, okay? Just like a tidal wave picks up momentum as it keeps moving and driving forward. And so as I bear witness to the positive and the negative, and as I allow that information to flow through me up to the higher self and to the divine, there is creation that is inspired through the consciousness and through this knowing and this experience, okay? And so that's why it was so important for me through all my traumas to be able to release the negativity, to release the anger, the bitterness, the fear, all those things that were still kind of festering. Okay, so I was always a very nice person. I was always a very kind person. I was always a very respectful person. That's the way I was raised. I was very quiet. I was very introverted. That's my nature. My natural state is being an introvert. But deep inside, I had a lot of fear, anger, sadness, a lot of sadness. The feelings of betrayal were overwhelming in the things that had happened to me in my life. And so even though on the surface I was very kind, those things were still in me. And so they could elicit a very aggressive response, a very, whether it be physical or verbal, they could elicit just reactions that most people weren't expecting. Because if I ever became threatened, normally I would be very calm, very centered until I got to the point where I had to act. And then the response was very quick and decisive, very definitive, okay? And so, like on the surface, I was very kind, patient, but still very defensive and aggressive. So it was very important for me to release all those things that not very many people saw. Mostly my family, people very close to me only saw that part of me, or anybody who threatened me. But it was still there. It was hidden, but it was there. And so through this process of awakening, energetically and spiritually, I had to release all of that energy that was buried deep in the corners, in the recesses, in the darkness that was within me. Okay. And I had to truly reconcile all that pain and sadness that was in me, so that at this point right here of creation, it wouldn't affect what I was creating or how I was creating it. I don't want to create darkness in this world. I don't want to bring the negativity, the oppression, the control, the fear. I don't want to bring that into this next level of transcendence. So I needed to release it. And so this last 6 years now has just been about that. Waking up and releasing the anger, releasing the fear, releasing the bitterness. So in this moment that I could create what this world is meant to become. Okay, and so we come up, I bear witness, I experience this, I see the positive and the negative, I see the harm and the good, I see all things from a balanced perspective. Okay, I understand why people are angry and sad and bitter and need to control and need to resist change or want to resist change, want things to stay the way they were, because I understand that. And many people don't want it to change because it could change for the worse. They don't have faith that the change is going to be positive. It's going to be the most beautiful thing ever. They don't have trust in that. So they want it to stay where it was. So at least they know that they can survive at this level of existence. Okay. But they can't take the risk that things could go from this place to worse. And they don't have the faith to believe that it could go from this place to beyond belief, better. Okay? So I understand that and I have compassion for that, but they have to be let go. Okay? These folks who choose not to create the change in their life that will bring the beauty, they have to be let go. And I think and the people who are on the positive side, they know. They're like on their way and they're like loving it. But for me, having to sit in this and bear witness to it and sit in the spaces and fill in the gaps so that the change can happen the way it's meant to happen, it's very difficult for me to let go. That's my last hurdle, is letting go of the people that I know have so much potential if they would just have faith If they could just find it within themselves to believe in something greater than themselves, to have faith, to let go of the things that they worked so hard for in their mind. In the old paradigm, I worked so hard for this car, I worked so hard for this house, I worked so hard for this 401k, I worked so hard for all this, and they can't let it go because they feel like they've reached the pinnacle, or they're almost at the pinnacle of what this idea of what they think is joy, love, and happiness, right? Or fulfillment. They feel like they're there or almost there, and they're like, I can't let this go, because what if this isn't better? What if this isn't what I think it is? I have so much invested and so much value. I've placed so much value in this. I can't let it go. Okay, and so when I see all these people who put so much effort into these things, and that they can't let them go, I'm like, and all I can think of is, if you could just put that, half that effort into this beautiful world that we're creating, into the faith and trust in a divine creator, that divine creator that you go to church every Sunday to worship. If you can put half as much faith in that energy to create the beautiful world that you want, you can move to this new world, to this new earth. You can be there with us. But people just, they can't. That's not where they are. And the hardest thing I'm struggling with right now is just letting them go. Just letting them go. It's just, I'm a fighter. I get my teeth into something and it's hard for me to let it go. And as I say that, letting go, I keep hearing myself say, letting go. They won't let it go. They won't let it go. And I just said, I get my teeth into something and I can't let it go. Well, this whole week, and maybe even since the beginning of this year, I would say, I have to let it go. And that's my lesson. Friday was a very difficult day. I had so much weight in my body because I know this transition is happening. And I know right now we're in a pivotal time. And the weight was all over my body, and it just was telling me, you have to let them go. You have to let it go. You have to let them move on their path. Let them move on the path and purpose that they see fit at this time. And so that's where love and compassion, believe it or not, comes in, is allowing people to walk through that phase, walk through the darkness, stay in the darkness, okay, and not choose this change of transcendence. Okay, I hope that's clear. Sometimes if I'm too emotional, like, it's so deep in my heart, so deep in my heart to want to help people transcend to this new beautiful world. I just know what it's going to be like, but I can't force people. I can't. I can say things, I can say so many things 100 different ways so that it can reach so many different people, right? That's one of the things I work really diligently at doing, speaking in a way that people can hear, they can process the information, and so they can utilize it to help them on their path and purpose and grow and change and evolve. I work so hard at that. But sometimes there are individuals who just aren't ready to hear it or don't want to hear it, who have committed to a certain way or a certain thing or a certain ideology, paradigm, okay? And they can't see anything else other than that. And I have to allow them to explore that. I have to allow it. I've explored so many things in my life, and I am so grateful for those opportunities. And they've made me the person I am. And so I appreciate that. I've taken on those opportunities, and I've learned. I have to allow other people to do that, okay? I don't want to get too much further into that. I could go way off deep into the rabbit hole on that, but I'm not. I just need to honor people, allow them to walk their path and live their purpose. Okay, I just have to do that. And so right now I'm just going through this phase of releasing. And I think when I say that and I feel that, I think all of us have to go through that phase of releasing. Okay, people who are transcending and moving into this new earth have to release the people that are not ready. Okay, and I think we're all going through that. I think the people who are choosing the other way to remain at this place, I think it's a lot easier for them to release us than it is for us to release them, because we are healing and we are healers and we want to heal everybody with us. But that's just not how it's meant to be right now. It's meant that we transcend and we come to a new, different place in our existence and we start a new journey. And the others need to walk their path and purpose and find their path and purpose and work on healing themselves. And I keep on hearing for the last week, healer, heal thyself. And I think I'll just leave that there. I think that's the lesson for all of us. Healer, heal thyself. And as we who are transcending heal ourselves, we heal each other because we understand our interconnectedness. Okay? And so we are a unifying force, creating a unifying field, transcending and transitioning Mother Earth and her rebirth. Okay? And I'm trying not to bring up the people too much, people who have chosen not to transcend, because I just need to allow them to walk their path and purpose. I want to focus more on this phase of transcendence and change for people who are unifying and creating a new collective and creating the change for New Earth, for new Mother Earth, Father, Son, and our connection to the world around us on this planet, but also in our solar system. Because as soon as I said that, I started seeing the lizards. I don't know what they're called, but they look like the blue-bellied lizards that we used to catch when I was a kid. But they're about 5'2", and one of them was a female. She was in my room in 2018. There's a female who came into my room, just literally was right there, manifested next to my bed in the middle of the night. And so as soon as I said what I just said about allowing these people to walk their path and us unifying, not only on this earth, but in the solar system, I saw the lizard, and she's just standing there, and then what I saw was all the planets in our solar system. They just kind of lined up. And so I'm assuming beings on those worlds lining up, ready to welcome Earth into this galactic community, because it will start first here, right? It'll start first within our solar system. And I know a lot of people want to meet their starseed family or whatever. I don't get too much into that, other than I know it exists, I know it's true, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I've never been drawn to those roots. I know that we all of us, not just a few of us, not just some of us, all of us have roots on other worlds throughout the universe. But my path and purpose is here on Earth, and my commitment is to Earth, and it's my duty, my obligation, my agreement, my commitment to connect with my roots with Mother Earth, my energetic connection to Mother Earth, my spiritual connection to Mother Earth, my physical connection to Mother Earth, on all levels, and to be rooted here on this planet to create the change that this world needs. I mean, just so profoundly connected to the earth. just, I don't know, the thought of leaving this planet is not appealing to me at all. The thought of meeting new beings throughout the solar system and throughout the universe is appealing, but the thought of relocating, let's put it that way, to another planet because I think that planet's better than this world, not even a second thought. This planet is my home, and I have no desire to leave it. Through the darkness or the light, I'm committed to this world, to this planet. And I will sit here in darkness and I will sit here in light to make sure that the change that is meant to happen will happen. There will be no other timelines. That's what's coming back again. It's like there's no other timelines. We're converging. The timelines are all converging. And so all the discussion about alternative timelines and how this timeline was an easier timeline and this timeline was a more difficult timeline and this timeline that we're on is one of the more difficult timelines. That's all fodder. That's all meant to confuse you, to what's the word I want? To create like this disarray, this fogginess, this to make you want different realities. Okay, I want a different reality. I want a better reality. It's to fragment. That's the word. To fragment the consciousness of humanity. Okay, people wanting different timelines. People wanting to live on different worlds. Okay, my starseed world, right? I want to live on different worlds. I can't tolerate. It's fragmenting, right? The consciousness. That was just a tool being used. All the timelines are converging, so all that is irrelevant. Okay, all those discussions of different timelines is completely irrelevant. So I would encourage people not to focus on that. I would encourage people to focus on creation. I would encourage people to focus on creating balance in their life, finding perspective, and manifesting from love, manifesting from balance, manifesting from goodness and kindness. My ex-husband used to say we needed to, I coddle our kids, we need to toughen them up. And so he would say stuff like they need to suck it up, right? I don't like that at all. And my response is, I'm not raising my kids to live in this world. I'm raising my kids to change it. Okay? When I say that, I mean when I teach them when they're in a conflict, when people are being mean, aggressive, judgmental. I don't teach them to be defensive. I talk to them about why people are behaving that way. And I was aggressive and defensive because I was fearful and I felt like I always needed to defend myself. Okay, I was constantly trying to defend myself. And like I said, for me, I wasn't always that way. You had to push me and back me into a corner before I would ever come out that way. And I had to feel extremely threatened before I would respond that way, but it was definitely within me, okay? So even the nicest, kindest person could be very aggressive. And so I would teach them why. Why are bullies the way they are? Why are people attacking you verbally? And teach them that you don't resolve that with aggression, right? You don't resolve it by coming at them aggressively, because then people argue back and forth and they're so busy yelling, they're not thinking. They're not thinking about what they're saying. They're not thinking and speaking in a way that will actually resolve the conflict. Okay, because it becomes just an aggressive back and forth and two defensive people trying to defend themselves, okay? And so I teach them to step back and listen, and if you cannot speak to the person with in a clear, balanced tone, and if they don't speak back to you, speak back respond to you in the same way, then the conversation no longer has value. Okay, that conversation no longer has value. You need to politely excuse yourself and say, we can rekindle this conversation later when we can talk, but right now, the yelling isn't going to help resolve the situation because you can't hear what I'm saying. Okay, both people need to be listening and responding from a place of balance, from a place of where they can articulate their thoughts and their emotions in a way that can be heard, not in a way that is attacking or abusive, right? And so that's just one of the things I teach my kids when we're talking about life and what's going on in the world today. I use examples of what I see in society, on the news, whether it's face-to-face out in public, or I don't watch the news, but like little excerpts of things I see, I talk about what's happening in that situation and how to resolve that conflict in a way that's healthy and beneficial to both parties, okay? And I talk to them about what it means to be at an impasse. But when I say I'm raising my kids not to live in this world but to change it, it means I have to change their perception of what's going on and how to resolve the problem, because people don't know how to resolve conflict anymore. What I'm witnessing in the world is people don't know how to resolve conflict. Now it's like, if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong, and if you don't agree with me, then you're not anybody I want to know. And there's a huge division happening in our society, or has happened, right? And so in order to transcend to a place of compassion and kindness and understanding and love, unconditional love, you have to accept people from where they are. You have to accept people's differences of opinion. You have to be able to talk about your differences of opinion. And then you have to reconcile that truth of, we have a difference of opinion. Now, how can we find a solution that will work for both of us? And if this isn't going to go my way, and if this is a solution that has to be one way or the other, then how do we resolve this in a way that I can accept, and that I won't harbor any ill will or anger about the situation? That is what we, as we transcend, people who are transcending, have to know, have to learn how to reconcile in this new way of living. Okay, this new way of perceiving the world around them. Okay, and so that simple truth, right? How do I find a resolution where I know that one or the other person is not going to get what they want? And how do we accept that truth and honor and respect both sides, and honor and respect the person who gets their way, and honor and respect the person who doesn't get their way, and still find resolution in a way that's acceptable for both people, and honor and respect both people, and not marginalize the person who's not getting their way? Because I think what we want to say is, see, you were wrong, that's why you didn't get your way. There really is no right or wrong. When we're looking for the greater good, when we're seeking out what the greater good is, we are trying to find a solution that is beneficial for all. It's when we talk about right and wrong, we're going to ego. Okay, we are releasing the ego in transcendence. Okay, so when we have these conflicts, the resolution and the solution comes from a completely different place. It doesn't come from a place of conquering. It doesn't come from a place of right and wrong, which is where this world was and what we're moving out of. Okay? And so if I go back, that is what I mean when I talk about, I'm not raising my kids to live in this world. I'm raising my kids to change it. I'm raising them to live in a world where the old ways are antiquated, dated, and they're on their way out. We are finding new ways to live in harmony. And I'm teaching them the skills that they need to live in harmony and to live from a place of respect, respecting their fellow man, expressing kindness and compassion and unconditional love, acceptance, okay, not judgment. Allowing people to be who they are, supporting one another, unifying together as a community. okay, as a unifying force, as a unifying field, to us together, all of us, living from that place. That is what I mean when I talk about raising my kids not to live in this world, but to change it, okay? Because we have to create change to create the new world that we're going to live in, okay? Our ability to create, we're manifesting the world that we want to live in through our words, through our actions, through our thoughts, through our emotions. So all those things that we are doing energetically and on this plane, through our consciousness and through our physical words, actions, are manifesting and creating the world that we want to live in. And that's why it's so important for me to teach my kids a new way, not living the old ways, but living in a new way that honors and respects the world around them, the people around them, and the world around them. Okay, all energy, the soil, the plants, the animals, the sky, the sun, anything, the water, all life within the water, okay? All those things. Teaching them that we live in harmony with those things, and we must honor and respect those things, okay? And we must treat them with honor and respect, okay? I feel like I've been talking so long. Let me see if there's anything else that needs to come out. Oh my God, my ears are ringing so loud right now. So I just had this divine energy come in, male. It was manifesting as a male, and its face was kind of in the sun. And it just said, he said, "Welcome to your new beginning." And I just have to be honest, because I'm so happy for that new beginning, but at the same time in my gut I feel the pain and the sadness from the ending for that's going to happen for many people, because I can't sit just in this light energy. I have to sit in the middle. I have to sit in the balance. And so when I have these moments, I have both sides. I get both sides. I'm moving in and out of both sides. And so I just felt that pain of the letting go of the old as we welcome in the new. And so the lizard, who called itself glue, not glue like glue on paper, but galoo, just running around me, super excited. Very young, it seems very young, but maybe that's just their energy. You know, maybe because this is the first time they've come in so intensely. I've always seen them on the outside, you know, behind the raptors, let's say, amongst many other beings, but I've never had them come straight in like this to me and actually communicated, other than the female that was in my bedroom, but she was just observing me. It was very weird. I said, I woke up and she was there, and I just, because at that time everybody was talking about reptiles being negative and, you know, a lot of fear-based thinking, and so I just said, I'm not afraid of you, and I rolled over, and I go, it's the middle of the night, and I went back to bed. And I said to myself, hey, she wasn't trying to be scary. She was like looking at me, because actually when I woke up, her face was about a foot away from mine, and she was bent down in my face looking at me. And I was like, she was not trying to scare me. She was looking at me like she was kind of examining me, like curious. And so I rolled back over to see if she was still there, and she was gone. But very calm and very curious. But this person, this energy that's running around me, Galoo, is just like a little kid, you know. And so, like I said, I don't know if this is maybe another side of their personality or their energy field. But it's kind of sweet. It's very cool. It's very sweet. Super excited energy. Okay. All right, that's it. Thank you.